Geminis from two different generations give their opinions about the latest trending topics. Emari and Tangela answer listeners' questions.
We are having simply necessary conversations about how being from different generations influences our perspectives on life.
I'm Tangela, and we're your favorite May-June Geminis mother-daughter duo.
And I'm Emari. Don't believe the lies you've heard about Geminis. Make sure to comment, like, share, and subscribe. And a special shout out to my friend Michaela for making our lovely graphic that you see behind us. Thank you, Michaela. So our first segment for today on our very first podcast episode is trending topics. Now, you know, I love to be on the shade room and spiritual world and, you know, all that good stuff. When I was on TikTok, I saw that Tia Mowry posted a TikTok about how she's dating after a divorce. And she actually had this really detailed caption. She said, "Fun fact, I've never been on the dating scene my entire life. So when I tell you I'm nervous and terrified of doing this whole dating thing, I mean it. Even though I'm in my 40s, I feel so inexperienced. And while it would be easy to just throw in the towel and avoid the potential for awkwardness and hurt, I know God's got me. So if you're feeling apprehensive about new experiences, just know you got this and we're in this together." So I feel like she low-key kind of was talking about you, Mom, because you're in a similar situation. How do you feel about what she said?
Well, we are definitely in this together. Very similar experience in that I don't have a lot of dating experience. Went from college graduation, 2 weeks later married 29 years.
But go Bulls, because we graduated from the same school.
Well, yeah, go Bulls. But yeah, 29 years of marriage and then divorce. So like the dating scene was completely new for me. And then I also feel for Tia, it's going to be especially difficult because she's a celebrity. So when she's out there in the world, she's not going to know if somebody is trying to date her because of her celebrity. She's not going to know if, you know, this person has ulterior motives. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for her to navigate that scene. I just hope that she's careful, does her homework, and don't take people at face value because you can't.
I just don't know how she's going to do it with kids, though. Like, her kids are little. Like, her daughter is probably, like, 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah. And even that, like introducing her kids to someone new, she's not going to necessarily know when it's safe to do that because I happen to know that someone can audition for a long time. Anybody that you meet in just regular life, they're auditioning. Yeah. And so then with her having to bring them around her kid. Now, I noticed, though, her son is pretty savvy. Like, I think her son is going to be
I don't think her son
over it. Yeah, like, he's going to be all over because he's all over her. So I know he will be very protective.
You don't like his mama going out looking any type of way.
Yeah. He'll be protective of his mom, but then people are good at being deceptive. Like, they can
real bad
put on a whole show. So it's going to be interesting. I hope and wish the best for her, but she's smart. She's been in Hollywood for a long time. She's been on the scene, and then she has her twin sister. So I think between the two of them, their family, she has a very close knit family. She has brothers. They're gonna look out for her.
Yeah, and her brother, I think, just recently got married.
Yeah. So hopefully it won't be as bad as it could be. But I do identify with that because you don't know who you can trust. You don't know like what things to look for because if you're a good person, which I think she comes from a good family, they always talk about their Christianity, that kind of stuff. If you're a good person, you don't think like evil people do. You don't think like, you know, people that are trying to be sneaky do. So you can be fooled easily if you're not careful. So hopefully it will work out for her. Like, I don't know.
I feel like you being in the dating scene, though, forgive me for saying this, I feel like I'm a little bit more experienced, you know. Because even though I'm younger, I know I'm 21 and you're... Do you want to say your age?
I don't mind. I'm 53. I am half of 100 plus 3. Thank you very much. I'm
that
very
so
proud
extra.
of that.
Oh my God.
No, it's a fact.
But even though I'm only 21, I feel like I've experienced being single for all my life. Very sad for me. But I feel like I've had more experience like realizing when somebody is just a big fat liar. Like,
yeah. I mean, my generation, not to say that there weren't shady people. There's always been shady people, nothing new under the sun.
Y'all was doing some stuff.
But people, I don't know. I think people are a lot more sneaky. They have a lot more ulterior motives than our generation did. Like, you know, you guys are from the internet dating world. Like, you're used to meeting strangers. Like, for me, anybody that I would have met would have been someone that was from the neighborhood that somebody else knew. Chances are you went to school with them. we know that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
But doesn't that kind of make it harder, though? Because it's just like, especially because, like, I grew up in Lakeland. You grew up in Lakeland, whatever. Very small town in Florida, near big cities, but small. Doesn't it make it harder when you know so many of the same people? And it's like All-American. You know, in All-American, they have the Vortex.
The Vortex,
I feel like Lakeland is like its own version of the Vortex, because you, like, everybody knows everybody. Like, at least for me, I can, like, branch out, and there's dangers in branching out and not knowing the people that I'm meeting from online or Instagram or even at college, but it's not like the same people over and over again.
Well, there's pros and cons. The pros are, hopefully, because so many people would also know the person that you're dating, anything bad that there is to find out about them or know about them, you would find out. Now, we know that's not always the case.
You know,
we know that's not always the case.
A little different.
But so that would work in your favor. The downside is, chances are you could be dating somebody that somebody else also dated. You could be dating someone that, in my case, my ex knows. And so they could have been friends, because we all kind of knew each other, grew up
especially
together.
Especially in the Black community,
and,
very small.
Yeah. So, like, there's pros and cons to it. I kind of prefer dating someone that people at least know of. They don't have to know them, but that they at least know of.
Also,
because
I don't want to date somebody that's popular. Like, I want my man to be in a bubble. You're not. Well, you can be on Instagram, but don't post on Instagram. Don't post on your story too much. Don't be outside every day. I don't want you to have, like, 50 million gazillion female friends. Like, where are all these females coming from? Like,
that's the red flag, though. I know this now. The red flag, if you see a guy that's on social media and every friend that he has is a female, or the majority. No, not even on social media,
in person.
Or even
every
in person.
time I'm out with you, if some random girl is being like, oh my God, hi, so.
Yeah, that's not necessarily who you want to be with. Now, there's nothing wrong with being popular, but if their social media, if their whole everything,
popular, doing a lot.
So I don't know. You don't want somebody that nobody knows anything about, because they could very well be a serial killer. Like, you don't know.
But the popular ones be the ones that are serial killers, and nobody knows, because everyone's like, so and so is so nice. Oh my God, I love so and so.
It's tricky. It's tricky, and then you think we're sitting here having all these thoughts and concerns about dating somebody. So now throw in for Portia. She's a celebrity, and she has to kind of navigate that.
Yeah, I mean, but she had a good career.
Career is not everything.
It's not everything, but would you, like, not want to be famous for the ease of anonymity, or would you want to be famous and just deal with what comes with being famous?
I personally don't want to be famous. I want the rich part. I want the rich part without the fame, because when you're famous, everybody knows your business. They're tracking. Think about it. When they announced their divorce, her and her husband, everybody was all over.
Yeah, it's like public records a lot of times.
Yeah, so, like, that part. I want the rich without the fame, because with the rich, I can go where I want to, do what I want to, have what I want to, and then nobody's minding my business.
Or you could be so rich that you can do like Michael Jackson and just have, like, disguises and go out in public and nobody knows.
I don't ever want to be so famous that I got to wear a disguise in public.
No, I don't want to call out a celebrity for not being too famous. That's a little mean. I can't be like, oh, I want to be like this celebrity, because they're not like. No, I just want the rich without the fame. I will invite the rich. I wouldn't mind
a
little, like, my dream career would be Zendaya's. Like, if I could just, like, pick a celebrity's career and be like, I want that, it would be hers. And she's very famous. And her relationship
But she keeps her business to herself.
That's true, because we didn't know her and Tom Holland. We didn't know that MJ and Spider-Man was real life Endgame. We did not know that.
Yeah. So I think if you're smart, you can do it. Like, I think you can become famous and still have a private life, but you have to be very careful about it. And here's the key. Don't start out putting everything out there, because if you start out that way, then you got to keep it that way. If you start out keeping your business to yourself, now I will tell you too, as an older person, that can become a problem, because if you are, I think years ago, you won't recognize this reference, but years ago, Charlemagne, there was a group called Charlemagne.
What was that?
Again, you won't recognize the reference, but there were 3 people. I think they were a trio. 2 of them were actually married. I think somebody checked my facts, but I think they were married. Nobody knew. So, and they chose to not tell people, because they thought that it would diminish the following. The guy felt like it would make women not be as into the group. Well, he took advantage of that, because nobody knew that.
But see, that's the difference between having a private relationship and having a secret relationship.
Yeah.
Everybody should know who you're talking to, like, that person's name. Even if they don't know they should know so-and-so is talking to so-and-so. Like, they're a couple. They go together real bad, as Young Miami would say.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be secret. Where like, if I'm talking to you and I don't know you in a relationship, and then suddenly you're just like, oh yeah, my boo ting tink. What? Where did they come from?
Yeah. And then if people don't know that you're seeing said person could be seeing other people while they're seeing you.
But you know, some people they don't care.
Well, I'm not those people.
I'm not as long as he comes home type of girl.
No. They can keep that. No, I'm not one of those people. But yeah, you have to be careful because it will allow a person to kind of have a covert relationship outside of your relationship if nobody knows you're in a relationship.
So on to a more serious topic. You know, I love listening to music on my way to work. Like, that's my thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm always like trying to de-stress when I get into my job, because for those that don't know, I'm in news, I guess I should say. So I have to read a lot of heavy stories. And the latest story that has like really blown my mind is everything that's going on with like Ron DeSantis and like the education system in Florida, specifically for the Black community. And I'm a recent graduate of USF, gay. And we had a lot of like programs and classes that cover like Black history. I'm an Africana Studies minor, you know. I know what I'm talking about. I have my credentials. And basically what he's saying now is like, well, do you want to explain it? Because I know you.
Well, so Governor DeSantis, and I use the term governor loosely because I'm not real happy with him. So Governor DeSantis and his Board of Education have decided that children should be taught that people that were enslaved. First of all, let me give people a little bit of education. Slaves were not brought.
Wait, no. Enslaved people. We don't
wait. No, that's what I'm about to cover. Slaves were not brought from countries like Africa. People were brought from countries like Africa, and then they were enslaved once they arrived here in the United States. And I'm not going to even say America, because a lot of people need to understand that the Americas is more than just the United States. The United States is part of it. Canada is in the Americas. There's Central America. There's South Mexico. America. Everything over here in the Western Hemisphere, that is America. So the United States is a specific part of America. Let's get that on the table. Okay, the next thing is, like I said, people were brought from Africa and then enslaved. They were not necessarily, some may have been, because slavery did exist in Africa. We have to acknowledge that.
You know,
I know Africana Studies major. You know that the institution of slavery in that country was different than what it was over here. I want to
kind of explain it, because I feel like a lot of people don't know. And that's why I'm so annoyed with our governor, because a lot of people don't know a lot about the history of Africa and the history of like Africans being brought here. Like, they don't understand the context, because basically what happened was they like Europeans went over to Africa and they were just like, oh, this is so cool, this is so great, like y'all have all this stuff that we don't even have. Oh my God, like y'all are killing it, y'all are that girl. But then they were just like, wait a minute, we can be that girl too if we just take what you have, if we take your resources, because they took a lot of physical resources, and if we take your people. And when they took people, they didn't just take bodies, they took intellect and knowledge. So a lot of times when people are looking at, quote, third world countries like African countries or the Caribbean, they're not inferior to the Americas or to Europe. It's because the intellect and the knowledge and the people were just ripped out of the country. And then they were basically like thrown like, oh, you know what? You want your country back here?
With no education, as a matter of fact, for years.
And also in terms of education, Eurocentric education shouldn't be the standard. Like, we talked about this in one of my classes, that everything that Africa itself isn't even, like, Africa is Eurocentric because Africa was not called Africa when Europeans went to Africa. Like,
right.
They grouped everyone as Africans, but there's different countries in Africa. There's different cultures. There's different religions. So a lot of the conflict that we see is because they basically said, hey, you're enemies with this person, but, you know, now y'all got to be the same, y'all got to be on the same team because y'all are both Black. And, like, anyway, I can go on a whole tangent, as you know.
I think you just kind of did, but it's okay.
A little bit. But in terms of, I heard someone say this the other day when I was going into work, and they were basically just like, oh, like, you know, what's that significant about slavery in, you know, the U.S.? Like, there was slavery everywhere. Like, what's so significant? And I was fuming because I couldn't explain it to them without, like, it coming across harsh. But I really wanted to explain it to them because a lot of people don't know. Slavery in the U.S. was one of the first race-based slaveries across nations. like in Africa, yes, there was slavery, but usually those people were prisoners of war. They had some means to get out of slavery or something. Even when people point to like, oh, biblically there was slavery, they were not going to be enslaved that entire time. Like there were ways out of it. It's different.
Yeah. Well, we learned.
Not justifying slavery in any way.
At USF that yes, the institution of slavery did exist in Africa, but someone in Africa could work their way out of slavery. They could become high ranking in whatever group or clan that they join. Because I resist the urge to say
don't say tribe.
Okay, mm-hmm. Yeah. So they had the opportunity. Only in America were you brought over, forced into slavery, and that was your lot. That was your lot. That was your kids' lot. It was supposed to go on for the rest of your life and your family's life.
Once a slave in the Europeans' minds of the 18th century, always a slave. Mm-hmm. Like that's kind of how it was.
What Governor DeSantis and his Board of Education they're wanting to do is to teach that enslaved people benefited from slavery, which is because they learned skills and trades. Like, come on now.
So you telling me I couldn't learn how to be a carpenter?
Well, first of all, you don't know that person that was kidnapped and brought to this country didn't already have that skill in their country.
But the fact that they're trying to say that all of a sudden now, yeah, like, enslaved people, they learned a lot. We did great by them.
We did them a service.
Like,
by kidnapping them, bringing them to a country and forcing them to work for free.
There's also something in the legislation that says that like certain ages can't be taught kind of the horrors of slavery. Like it has, like they have to learn about the great historical figures that are prevalent in Black history before they learn about like the horrors of slavery, which to me doesn't make sense, because if I'm a kid and I'm learning, I'm going to be like, okay, so what's special about MLK? Like, oh, he had a dream. Cool.
Without the context of what he had to overcome.
Exactly. Like, we need context, because if you don't understand the horrors that enslaved people went through, and you don't understand how that affected, like your grandma only got a 6th grade education.
6th grade education.
Like, let's be so for real.
But managed to produce a valedictorian, which happened to be my mom. Very proud of that. Very proud of that.
If we don't learn that, like, then the stuff that's happening now in the world, people can just brush it off and just be like, oh, like Black people are just lazy, or Black people.
Okay, and let me just say this too to people, that live now that had nothing to do with the institution of slavery. And I get it. I didn't own slaves. My family may not have owned slaves. So why am I paying for it? Nobody's asking you to pay for it. We're just asking you to acknowledge it, to be aware of it, acknowledge it, and know what it meant for me. Like you said, my great-grandfather was a slave. Okay, and then my grandmother only was able to go to 6th grade, and then she became a domestic, but made sure that all her kids got a high school education, and then their kids, in my case, we were able to go to college, mm-hmm. and now you're 3rd generation of college. Mm-hmm. It took a lot. When you think about what we had to overcome to be where we are, we came from people that were not only not taught to read, write, and be educated, it was against the law. Like literally against the law for them to be taught to read. Just think about that. So we're going to make sure that you don't have a skill, and then we're going to use that as a reason to look down on you and think that you are less than and inferior because you don't have the skill. So if you don't teach kids, and then this whole thing about, these kids are too young and may traumatize them.
Like, but they don't understand the fact that, like, okay, you're 5-year-old. Like, you think they're going to be, or not 5-year-old, that's inaccurate. Like, you're a 10-year-old. They might, like, this might be too heavy for them or whatever. Do they not understand? Like, when Trayvon Martin died, I was scared to wear a hoodie for like a year. And I was like 10 years old.
And people wanted you to just get over it.
And like, just get over it. Or I remember one time distinctly, us walking around a lake in our hometown, Lakeland. And I probably was like 10, 11 years old. And somebody shouted out the N-word at me. Like, oh, but like, y'all can learn about history. Yeah. So like this actually affects us in real life from a young age, from birth.
It's still affecting us. And while I understand people that had nothing to do with the past, but it is always going to be true. Those who are ignorant of the past are doomed to repeat its mistakes.
And saying that you had nothing to do with the past, but refusing to acknowledge the present, like we're not talking about 50 years ago. Yeah, like we're talking about right now.
Yeah. I mean, and then to say I don't want to be held accountable for what people did in the past that had nothing to do with me, but you're benefiting from that.
Exactly.
You are benefiting from that if you are if you are the descendant of someone who owns slaves and that person uses the money that they made from that free labor and from whatever slaves produced to build companies and organizations, and now you're the grandson or great granddaughter of someone that had a company that was built on the back of a slave, you don't want to have to deal with the negative aspect of acknowledging them as a slave owner, but you're benefiting financially
and
from them owning slaves.
I want to mention there's a lot of intersectionality. Like, you can be a woman and experience discrimination. You can experience classism. You can experience, sexism, whatever. You can experience nationalism, but that doesn't there's privileges and there's injustices that can happen at the same time. Like, as a Black woman, of course, I experience a lot of injustices, every day. But also, I have the benefit of being middle class. Like, I'm not blind to that. And I feel like a lot of people, when they're having this type of conversation, they're so focused on being like, oh, but I'm poor, so I know what it feels like to be Black. And it's like, that's not the same thing, baby. Like, let me touch your hand
when you walk in a room, people don't automatically, they can't see your socioeconomic status.
Exactly.
When you walk in a room. But they can see that you're female and I'm female. They can see our skin color. And unfortunately, people sometimes will use that to kind of try to pigeonhole you or decide who or what you're all about. And I just think that people need to be more cognizant of how people that are in other groups feel, how they're affected. And Governor DeSantis, if you ever listen to one of these podcasts, please know that if my ancestors could endure and live through slavery, then your kids, your relatives can learn about what it meant
and why it's so bad
and why it was so bad. Like, nobody's asking you to pay for it, but at least acknowledge it.
Because there's a lot of history that is grim. I'm not going to name specifics because I don't want to try to compare and contrast. Oh, this was worse than, because the bad stuff is bad stuff. But there's a lot of pieces of history that I'm sure that they didn't target in this legislation. That's just as traumatic.
AP African American history attacked this whole slavery thing, and another attack. But all of the other AP programs, all of the other AP courses, untouched.
Because I'm like, so they can learn about world wars, but slavery is where we draw the line. People died in world wars, but
So, and there were some horrors in those wars, and I'm sure that they're not going to whitewash that. They're not going to say, oh, let's not talk about our soldiers that lost their lives on the beach at Normandy.
Exactly.
Because it's too horrific. No, they want people to know those horrors so that those people that went and made it back can be acknowledged and appreciated.
As they should be.
So let's not pick and choose. Either we're not going to learn about anybody's history, or we need to learn about everybody.
I feel like that's what's wrong with American politics, is that everything is political. Like, I don't want my future. I don't have kids, y'all, but my future kids.
Thank you for that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank me. Thank me. I don't want babies. I feel like some of the problem too, obviously, politicians going to be politicians. There's a lot wrong with American politics, no matter what party you're in. But in terms of just socially, I feel like my generation has made some strides in being able to come together and have these conversations. Like, I have friends that we think completely different on some things, and we often debate on those things, a lot. Mm-hmm. But it's not hostile. It's not coming from a place of hate. It's not coming from a place of you're this, you're that. We're having conversation. And I feel like it's important for people to have diverse friend groups. If all of your friends look the same, baby, you're doing something wrong. I don't want all of my friends to be Black. I don't want all of my friends to be whatever political leaning that they I don't want that. I love the fact that I have such a diverse friend group. I have learned about South India and the caste system from my friend Tripura, who we'll talk to later today. I've learned about Trinidad and the Caribbean from my friend Sachin. I've learned about Argentina from my friend Tamara. Why did I say Tripura twice?
Because they're usually together at the same time.
The T's, I'm sorry, Tripura and Tamara. I love y'all. Anyway, but I've learned so much from them and so many of my other friends just about living differently. And it's opened my perspective and it's opened my eyes to a lot of things that I normally would not have been exposed to. If all of your friends
I love that your friend group is the United Nations. I love that. I'm here for it.
That's funny.
I'm here for it.
But no, literally, because we'll be the other day I said something about doing my hair, and Tripura was just oh, you gonna do a twist out? I was like, girl, what you know about a twist out? And then it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And then the other day, like Tamara went to Argentina, so I like went through her phone and was looking at all of her pictures of her family, and she was telling us about the country and how pretty it is, and like, you know, it's nice to have a different group of friends.
You need that diversity in your friend group because it opens your eyes, you know, and let's not neglect the fact that other countries have some good cuisine. Like when you got good food.
Okay, let me just tell you, y'all, Indian food is so good.
I was in my 50s, late 40s, 50s before I discovered Indian food, and it is fabulous.
You're welcome for putting me on.
It is fabulous.
Thank you, Shapora, for putting me on.
Yes, I should say thank you. Yeah, it's fabulous. Like you miss out on so much.
And my friend tonight, she cooked for me, and then Tamara made me empanadas, and she showed us how to make. Like when I tell you, like food is my like love language for friends. Mm-hmm, like you know, I be calling you and telling you like, hey, me and so and so are about to go eat. Me and
that's
so and so
all y'all do.
I mean, like I like food. Okay,
I know.
After this,
yeah. So anybody listening, if you ever date Emari, have a big food budget because you're gonna have to feed her. You're gonna have to feed her a lot. Yeah. She's little, but she eats a lot.
I do, and I'm not ashamed of it. So
I think it's about time for
Ask a Gemini.
Ask a Gemini.
Let's see.
Let's see if there's anything that anyone wants to.
Let me call the girl that I was just talking about, my friend Shapora. I told her I was gonna call her a little bit later, so she might be like, "Oh my god."
I hope she didn't ask anything too tough.
She's not gonna ask anything tough. Let's see. And I have her. Shapora,
hello.
I know I said I was gonna call you later, but you know the time is now, and you're on.
It's your turn, Tripora.
Yay! Thanks for calling me. How's it going?
It's going good. I think we're entertaining.
Well, of course. So, Tripora, you are joining us for the Ask a Gemini segment. So, what is it that's on your mind that you think we may be able to enlighten you about, or what is it about one of us that you would like to ask?
Not that you know my whole life, but.
You know, we talk about dating a lot, you know.
Yeah,
our strife with dating. I wanted to ask, this is kind of like, we've talked about it before and we've had good conversations about it, so I think it's going to be like a boom question, you know, a boom question.
Boom boom.
So, I've experienced this as a brown woman. I've been telling
Shapora is like a black
ally,
sister, you know.
So she identifies with us, and
she will marry a black man. Anyway, continue.
Oh my god! As a brown woman, I've experienced this, so I wanted to hear your perspectives as black women on the emasculation of black men in dating experiences and how that affects.
That is okay. All right. Well, okay. I got lots of thoughts on that. Lots of thoughts. Okay, so first let me just say, love black men.
To infinity.
And beyond. Mm-hmm. Okay, so my father, first, before I even get it, let me shout out my father who has been married to my mother for 55 years. Count them, 55 years. Has he been perfect? No.
Wow.
But has he been the perfect father? I'm going to say yes, because I know there has been times when, with all of the outside pressures of being a black man in America, with all of the outside pressures of having friends who were married and single who were not necessarily the best of partners and fathers, he has done a fantastic job of standing for my family, standing for us. You know, I'm pretty sure my mom and my dad would have no problem with me saying there may have been times when they each wanted to go their separate ways, but they stayed together and worked out any issues they had, because my dad was determined that once he had kids, and he's told us this many times, once he had kids, he wasn't going anywhere. He did not want anybody raising his kids. He knew what it was to have an absent father. He did not want us to experience that. So I have all kinds of love for black men. I hyphenated. I'm Tangela Walker Craft, because I said when I got married at the time, my dad had put in a lot more time than my new husband, and I was not dropping that name. So I love black men. With that being said, I don't think that the love, like deep Negro side right now, I don't think the love is always reciprocated.
Heavy on it.
I don't think that the love is always reciprocated. Now, we just had the whole discussion about the diversity of my daughter's friend group. So nobody come for me and call me a racist. Save that. Argue with your mama. Do not come for me with that. But what I'm seeing is black men, in a lot of cases, are dating women that are not black women, and a lot of times it is because for status. I think they think somehow it makes them look more impressive, better, that they were able to find someone that wanted them outside of their race. I have an issue with that. Sometimes it is because black women, because of that history of slavery, us having to have matrifocal households and having to hold down situations that sometimes
having the world
women
on our back.
Yeah, right? Like some situations that other women and other races don't necessarily have to deal with. We have had to become strong. So black men tend to see us as emasculating, when actually what's happening is we have had to fight so hard to just survive. We have had to fight so hard just to make a living. And then, you know, we don't have the luxury of being housewives or, you know, just sitting around and being, you know, and being a play pretty for them. Yeah. So what they see as emasculation, it is us just trying to survive. When we're asking you to be our intellectual equal or to be our equal when it comes to earning and that kind of stuff, they see that as us emasculating them, when actually all we're asking them to do is meet us where we are and not want us to be hard enough to be their equal when it comes to working and holding down the house, but then be soft when you want us to be soft and let you wear the pants and be the man. So we've been accused of emasculating black men. I want to say right now on this podcast, where are you when we need to be protected? Where are you when we need cover? Because a lot of you are heading for the hills. You're heading for women of other nationalities, other races. And it bothers me when you feel like a black woman is not good enough for you when your mama was black.
Let's get into it. But also, too, I feel like a lot of black men, at least the black men that I've encountered, because I've had some of my guy friends say this to me. Baby, I want the soft life. You think I want to be independent? Exactly. You think do you really think I want to go to work every day and wife me and watch what I do? Up. Like what are you saying? Like, I feel like they think like, oh, like they have this concept of like feminism and black women being strong and like, oh, y'all don't need a man, y'all don't want a man. No, I still want a man.
We want a whole man, though. We don't want a man child. We want a man.
But after the experiences that many black women and brown women have, especially with men of their own races, how am I supposed to be able to trust that, like, I can let you see my soft side? Because many a times, I done tried to be on my soft girl arc. Never works.
That's when they take advantage of you and kind of use your meekness and treat it like a weakness. And that's a problem for me. Yeah, it is like definitely a problem
they're
for
like,
me.
oh, you know, I got her, boys. No.
Because as soon as you start to show, you know, sensitivity, as soon as you open up to them, they weaponize it against you. And that's not just black men. I think, you know, any man can do that. But specifically in my case, when I try to say, okay, you know, let me make sure that you know that you're loved. Let me make sure that you know that I will be there for you, that I will, you know, that I'll ride for you. As soon as I start riding for someone, they push me off the bike that I helped buy and keep on down the road. Like, that's too much for me.
They want you to be like dependent on them, but not too dependent, because they don't want that much responsibility. Exactly. But they want you to be dependent enough where they feel masculine and they feel like the man. But it's like, which one do you want, babe? You want me to be able to take care of myself, or you want to be able to take care of me? But when you say you're going to take care of me, you got to take care of me
all the way.
And and I'm not even talking about money. Like, I feel like a lot of guys think that girls are supposed to just be like, oh my God, I love you so much, I want to be with you, like, you're my one and only, with them doing bare minimum. Like,
and they want awards and applause and credit for doing things that just should be done. Like, there was never a time that I thought that somebody should pat me on the back for staying and being a good mom to Emari.
No, literally,
never
like, I
thought
feel like
that.
Men act like loyalty is like a privilege. How is loyalty a privilege? Like, how you? I'm so good to you. I'm so loyal to you. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
I'm paying the bills. Well, okay. Am I not contributing? Because if you bring me food, I'm gonna make a meal. If you bring me money, I'm gonna stretch that money. I'm gonna make it do what it do. Like, I am very much wife material. So this is me saying it and me patting myself on the back. But I guarantee you, there's not a man out there that if he comes with something on the plate for me, that I'm not gonna make it into a gourmet meal. Like, you have to either be willing to accept a woman as an equal in every aspect, or you got to do the things that will allow her to feel safe enough to step back and say, okay, I'm going to let my man lead. But you cannot have it both ways. You can't want us to equal you when it comes to finances and equal you when it comes to work and equal you in every way. But then when it comes to everything else, you want us to be humble and submissive and let you take the lead.
And two, I feel like they want you to be wife material. But if you say or acknowledge that you are wife material, or you act in a way that's stereotypically like wife material, whatever that is, because it's just, as Shapur would say, it's the patriarchy talking. But like if you act like you know that, like, okay, I'm bringing something to the table, like that, like you want me to bring something to the table here, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, like I didn't think I was gonna get this far. Like that's kind of the attitude that it gives. Or like I feel like sometimes too, with Black men specifically, but just men in general, sometimes I honestly feel like some guys don't have, I don't want to say confidence because it's going to trigger some people. I don't want to say confidence. And it is not even confidence with like certain people. But Trapor, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I heard that giggle. But I feel like it's like a lack of, like they don't think they can pull you in some sort of way sometimes.
Especially if you're educated and do have your own money and you have your own thing.
It's like it's intimidating.
I have found that some of them expect for you, especially if you have a little bit more education or if you're a little bit more financially well off, they expect you to treat them a certain way. And so they just kind of sit and wait for the least little thing that you do.
And then they'll be like,
and then they're like,
see,
I knew you thought that you were better than me. Because like I've been accused of that.
Yeah.
I knew you thought you were better than me. No.
Yeah.
You know, if you do something very specific that I think is a problem or you mess up in some way and I point that out to you, that's not me thinking I'm better than you. That's me seeing what I think may be a flaw and maybe trying to help you address it. Not to say that I'm perfect, because I know in my marriage there were things that I could have done and should have done differently. But at the same time, I also know there was never a time that I brought anything or anyone outside of the household and put it ahead of the household.
Yeah.
That is what I need people to realize, is that for me, so anybody, future husband, if you're listening, what you need to know is, for me, nothing comes ahead of, other than God, because I was raised Christian, so I'm going to put that out there. But other than God, nothing comes ahead of my household. And I even had that understanding. My parents, I love them dearly, but home first, and then everybody else get in line. If you don't come with that kind of energy as a man in a relationship where I don't need your homeboys being able to call you when I need you for something. I don't want you to think that you're doing me some type of service to show up for your child. No, because we went half on a baby. So like don't act like now all of a sudden I'm supposed to be the primary caregiver in every, which I understand as female that we are nurturers, we are the caregivers. But if we went half on a baby, then we both need to be present for that baby all the time. Not when it's convenient for you, not when you don't have something else to do, not when the homeboys are not calling, because I think it's a very immature man to feel like anything comes ahead of your family. And that's just kind of the mindset
like
that I have.
A lot of, like, you know, I am marrying age, but I'm not married. I feel like from a dating perspective too, I feel like guys expect you to like be excited when they make time for you. And it's like, baby, I'm busy too.
Excuse me?
Like, I have a job.
Yeah, like, no, I don't have time.
Like, you know, I cancel plans with so-and-so so I can come see you.
Somebody I just saw on Facebook, maybe last night or whatever, to waste somebody's time, especially when you have them convinced that you want to be with them, you want to be in a relationship with them or whatever. Signals. To waste somebody's time is an act of hatred. Because you can buy things, you can give money. What time is something that you do not get replenished. To waste somebody's time is an act of hatred. It is a hostile act.
And this generation, you know, Gen Z, like, well, I won't even say unfortunately I'm part of Gen Z. I don't hate my generation. But the men in this generation, on the other hand, I don't hate the men in this generation either. Just, you know, caveat. But I was going to say, like, I feel like when guys want you, but they don't have time to be in a relationship with you, they try to, like, monopolize your time in a certain type of way. Like, they want you to be, like, always available. Like, Trapora, you said it the other day, an emotional girlfriend. They want you to be, like, an emotional girlfriend. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, they want you to be an emotional girlfriend, but they don't want to, like, progress it. So it's just like, I don't know what to tell you, babe. I'm going over here
the level of the audacity of some people and how they will play with your time, try to hold on to you because, you know, the excitement that girl that's going to let them do whatever. Because like you said at the beginning of this, I'm not that woman that as long as he comes home. No, I will never be her.
And
I will never be her. So they want to hold on to you because you're the stable, you're the what they know they should be with. But then they want to also go out there to the low-hanging fruit.
And then they want to paint all women with a broad brush of just like, all women do this, all women do that, all women are trash. Who are you picking?
Exactly.
Like, who are, like, let's check your standards,
and this is kind of heavy. We might have to address this on another episode. But I also have come across that man, and I apologize to anyone that I offend, but I
oh, Lord.
That man who had a bad mother. Mm-hmm. And so now they are angry and try to punish all women because they see all women through the lens of their mother. I've encountered that a lot.
Not even just like mother, but like even like past relationships or past experiences.
Past relationships, but I'm specifically talking about. I'm specifically talking about some people that the model female, the female that they saw the most and the closest up was a mother. That mother was not who she should have been in the household. So now, subconsciously, that man is angry with all women because he wasn't loved and nurtured and cared for in the way that he should have been as a child. So now he's out there playing with women's emotions. He's out there trying to punish women. He's trying to
get his lick back, but like, who are you getting your lick back on other than yourself?
You need to go and address that with mama if you can, because I found that to be the case.
Summer Walker said in that song, y'all know what I'm talking about.
I'm sure that I don't want to know. Tell me after.
Mom, you know. I can't say it on here.
Well, don't say it. Well, anyway. So yeah. Well, I know Doja said I'm not your mama. I know Jenny Lopez, Jenny from the Block, has some line in her song.
Ain't your mama.
Yeah, I ain't your mama. Like all of that, but like I really do feel like some of them have childhood trauma, anger issues, and they're punishing all women because of that.
Men be having like serious trauma that they refuse to address because men aren't supposed to be emotional, but it's like it's blocking your blessings. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not trying to call myself a blessing, but I'm a blessing. It's blocking your blessing.
You are definitely
like,
a blessing.
I could be so good to you, but you got trauma, so
yeah, and somehow it becomes your fault.
Or they try to flip it and just be like, oh no, it's you because you did this and you did. I'm like, what did I do?
I tell you what, let's put two platters on the table. Pile up what I did for you, and then pile up what I did against you, and see which plate is the fullest. I'm pretty sure that anything that I did, and then that's the thing, when you as a woman are trying to love a man, you're not wanting to intentionally do harm to him in any way, form, or fashion. Not to say that you're not going to slip up, you're not going to do stuff, because we have feelings too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to say that women
I'm real slick with the words. I got
a little attitude,
you come from me,
a little face,
and I didn't send for you, I'm going to send you back where you came from.
But I feel like especially from at least my experience as just myself and as a black woman, I feel like when I get out of pocket with a dude, it's because like I open, like, I don't like telling my feelings. You know this. I don't like opening up. I don't like letting people into my inner circle. Like, I hang out with the same 3 people every day. Like, I don't like new things.
Tis true.
So if I open up and I'm like giving you my time and attention and I'm talking to you and like all of it, and then you go on and you trying to make me seem like I'm crazy, or
you will be painted as crazy when you,
or delusional, like, oh, I never wanted you. You're crazy.
Yeah, you will be painted as crazy when you start to call out the BS that sometimes is, perpetrated upon
I feel like men expect you to just be like every other woman, or I don't even want to paint that as every other woman, but they expect you to just be like, you're not going to say that this behavior was weird. Like, you're not going to say that what you did was like bad. I'm gonna say it. Mm-hmm. Like you don't know me if you think I'm going to have a come to Jesus meeting. Like, look, this is what you did. This is why I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, and then let's not the guilt that's put upon us, and it's. I think it happens with black women a lot more. The guilt that's put upon us if we don't want to date someone that's not our financial equal or our intellectual equal. So then when you say, okay, I'm going to push all this aside, I'm going to try to see you for you, love you for you, and then you get smacked in the face with, okay, I kind of already was not sure about this situation. I decided to give it a chance because I wanted to see you for you. And then the very things that I had apprehension about, you kind of weaponize them, or I see it bubble to the surface and realize this is a problem.
I don't want to say I don't want to like compromise, or I don't want to give like a broke man a chance or something. Cause like, I don't care about stuff like that.
Not a gold digger. Never.
I'm not a gold digger. I got my own coin. I don't need yours. But I also don't want to like if I'm gonna get my heart broken, I want to get my heart broken by somebody that was actually my type.
Well, break my heart. You know, after you've been
after you don't wine and dine me or something like a steak dinner.
Don't
like
have
break me over a steak dinner, not over text at McDonald's.
Don't make me go through struggle love and then end up with the same mess that I could have.
That's what I'm like, if I'm gonna get played, let me get played by the fine man. Why am I getting played by you?
Well, I don't want to get played at all.
I'm not going to get played at all.
It hurts even more when you have said, okay, I'm going to accept you and your shortcomings, and then you still turn out to be just like the very definition of a scrub.
But like when your friends are just like, why are you with him? Why are you talking to him?
Look, this is the worst thing. When you convince your family, I know he doesn't have blah, blah, blah.
I know he used to do.
I know he used to do, but blah, blah, blah. And then he turns around and ends up being the exact a-hole that your family and friends tried to warn you about. And they're looking at you like, girl.
I could have told you that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. Now, shout out to all the black men that are holding it down for their women, that are being good fathers, that are being leaders in the community. I know lots of them. Unfortunately, they're mostly taken, or I'm just friends with them. But shout out to those men, because there are some. I'm Facebook friends with a lot of them. I see them. I admire them. I respect them.
We ain't on no homewrecker mess over here.
But yeah, like I'm not sharing my food, let alone a man. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So like and that's the other thing too. I just a brief moment for you women that will indulge a man knowing that he's married. Shame on you.
There's a
shame on you.
And
just how you get them is how you gonna lose them. We'll just wait. Karma, it's coming. So don't be one of those women. I'm not gonna entertain a man that I know is married. I'm not gonna entertain a man that I know is in a relationship.
If you tell me,
I want us to start normalizing when a man comes to you and tells you he's single. Especially if it's a man that you know was in a previous relationship, I need that word from that woman. But I need to be able to go to her as a woman and say, he said that you're no longer involved. Can you confirm this?
Not even just that. As soon as a man says, oh, I'm talking to so-and-so,
back up.
I'm going to leave it to Jesus.
Back up. Back up.
Because we can still be friends. Nothing more.
Okay, and then if you are divorced or you're in the process of getting a divorce, okay, we need to let that ink dry.
But honestly, if you're in the process of getting a divorce, you need to heal. You need to go see a therapist. You don't need to get another boo.
Yeah. Because I feel like reconciliation can happen at any time. And as someone that went through a divorce, if there's a way for a family to be saved or reconciled, I want that to happen. Why I say, so don't be out here playing with people. No, you're not completely done with your previous relationship.
That's why I say that if I ever dated a man with kids, God forbid, if I ever dated a man with kids, the kid's mom got. She can't be live and like.
Oh my
gosh, Emari, you gonna kill somebody?
I'm not saying I'm gonna kill the baby mama. What I am saying though is I'm so sorry for your tragedy. I'm so sorry that like she was a lost angel to the world. You can go visit her grave. But me and her we co-parenting with another no.
At your age, you still have that option. At my age, anybody that I date that hasn't been married or doesn't have kids, it might be a little strange. Like, how you gonna be half of 100 and never been married and never had kids? Like something about that. Now, and that brings up a whole lot of issues that I would have to deal with as a single person that you don't have to deal with. And I'm not against dating somebody with kids.
I am.
I'm not. Well, again, we're from different generations, different times, different situations in life. I'm not adverse to dating someone with kids. I just need you to, first of all, tell me you got kids and let me have that option. And then also, don't put me in a situation where I'm dealing with your ex-wife or your baby mama, and I got to be around here.
The number of baby mamas. Ex-wife is one thing. We can work with ex-wife. We can work with you high school sweethearts. Accidents happen. It's okay, babe. 5 baby mamas, like some 5 baby mamas, and you think I'm going to be the 6th? It's not giving Nick Cannon. It never gave Nick Cannon. I'm so sorry.
No. You do not need to be second, third, fourth, fifth baby mama.
No.
Like you got too much going for you. You got too much
first
life
of all,
to live.
I'm not finna be nobody's baby mama. I'm finna be a wife.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
Tripora, she knows I've raised her since childhood to not be a baby mama. As a matter of fact, I taught her that her baby dolls were all adopted because she was not married. Yes, I did. Because
yeah, you did.
I really, truly did. I taught her when she got a new dog. We were adopting this baby because we don't have babies out of wedlock. That is not our goal. We are too intelligent. We got too much going for ourselves. So let's adopt another baby. That was because I feel like you train up a child when they're young.
This is no shade to baby mamas because I know stuff happens. We are grown. Stuff happens. And and I also don't believe in marrying somebody just because you had their kid, because that can be even worse.
No, because that's a lot of burden to put on that child. That child is now the glue for that relationship, and no child should ever have to hold that much on their shoulders. They should not have to be the reason that
or
two
just
people
seeing
are
their
together.
parents argue every single day like that. No, I don't like
no, because stuff happens. Stuff happens, and everybody in our family has not had kids within a marriage
pregnancy, and I'm 21,
so no. But what we're saying is, as much as you can create an ideal situation, create that ideal situation. Don't just casually be okay with less than ideal. It should always be what you're striving for, whether you attain it or not. Try to reach for that.
The moral of the story is, if you have to be a baby mama to not be in a toxic relationship, live your baby mama days to the fullest. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's better for two people to live separately and co-parent than to live in a marriage that's not happy, because that's just is scarring for a child. So like there is no cut and dry. There's really just no. Like everybody on social media be saying your relationship is your relationship. Now I know what I'm not finna do. I know what I'm finna do. And you know what you want. It depends on the person, because some people don't want to get married, and that's understandable. Like, I went through a phase of not wanting to get married, but I'm out of it now. I definitely want to be wiped up. So, if anybody's single and you see me, hi. Yeah. And to all the sneaky guys that will use deception and deceit to get a woman to think that you want the same things as her, shame on you. God is watching. Karma is a bad word.
Well, thank you, Tripora, for calling in and listening to us ramble for the past 20 minutes.
No, that was amazing. Like, literally, when I heard Miss Tangela speak the first time, I was, wait, am I listening to Emari right now?
Because wait, we sound much the same?
Not the voice. Like,
okay.
You guys, like, the values and the way you, like, express it is just, like, the same blueprint. Because me and Emari have conversations a lot.
We do.
And I was like, what? So that's where you get from.
Definitely.
Yeah. I do believe in train up a child in the way they should go.
Well,
yeah.
I will see you later, bestie.
Congrats on the podcast, both of you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I love Tripora.
I do too.
That's my dog.
Yeah. It's nice when a parent can see their child have good friends with good intentions and that are a good influence.
So now it's time for our Gemini Gem. Our new official... Annual is not the right word. Our official way to close out the show with the Gemini Gem.
Okay, so I got two that I want to share real quick. Okay, so first of all, if you are watching us, you'll see that there are two items on the table. One of them is a Go Pillow, and one of them is a Go Pillow Light. Check that out. It is a patented invention that I invented, and since August,
Mama's an inventor, y'all.
Yes, I am a patented inventor. It is World Breastfeeding Month, and I believe this week still, because I think it goes from August 1st to August 7th, is World Breastfeeding Week. So if you are a breastfeeding or bottle feeding mom and you need a cradle pillow, a gift for a baby shower, anything like that, check out the Cushies Go Pillow. It is a product that I invented because of Emari. Most of the good things I've done in the last 21 years have been because of Emari. So check that out. The other Gemini gem that I want to share with you, ladies, especially African-American females, we always are afraid when we're out and the weather is bad of our hair getting wet.
Especially here in Florida.
Especially in Florida. Crazy. So, like, you can dry off. Your clothes will dry off. Your skin will dry off. But if that hair gets messed up, especially right after a new do, we are very, very traumatized.
This took me like 3 hours.
So, Gemini gem for today is keep a plastic shower cap, one of the cheap ones from the dollar store, in your purse at all times. Should there be an unexpected shower, you can throw that plastic cap on. Be out in the rain. If you don't have an umbrella, you don't have a raincoat, it will protect your hair. You can step inside wherever you're going, take it off, and your hair is still fly.
You will look stupid, and people will look at you.
People will judge you.
Going? Are you about to take a shower in the middle of the street?
Yeah.
But
they will judge you initially until they see.
No, because a lot of times I've done it, and people will be like, oh my God, that's so smart.
And then they're going to recognize the genius of the whole thing. So that is my Gemini gem for today.
Well, for me, it's also a hair-themed Gemini gem because I'm a curly girl. I love doing my curly hair. It's probably like my favorite style, but it is so time-consuming, and my hair is very thick, and it's very hard to manage. But I use a detangling brush, and y'all, when I tell y'all,
life-changing.
Like, it cut my hair doing time, like, by a lot. And then also one of the soft hood like bonnet hair dryers that you can attach to like a regular hair dryer if you do a deep condition or you just need to like set some curls or like whatever. Pop that thing on. You can get it at like a beauty supply store or Amazon. It's only like $15.
And if you're living in a small space, it doesn't take up as much space as a full-size hair dryer.
Yeah, like I can just fold it up and put it under.
Yeah, like it literally folds up. So anyway, those are our Gemini gems.
Those are our Gemini gems, and that also is the conclusion of our first episode. How do you feel about it?
We made it through. I think hopefully we didn't make enemies. Hopefully we made a lot of new friends.
I feel like, we gonna have some people in the comments.
Well, I'm gonna say in advance, argue with your mama. I'm Emari's mama. I don't have to like please anybody but her.
But anyways, thanks for joining us, and please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Period.